Yo, people, welcome back to the YouTube channel. You already know what time it is. Lateness is greatness. Welcome back. All you can eat Chelsea is live and direct, and we've got Miz in special settings, right? This is Miz's day. Let's keep it 100 macaroni. We've been hyping up this day, and this day has come, okay? Gather around, get your glasses. Do you know what I'm saying? Whether it's fruit shoots or wine, pop them bottles, because Miz is not only in Abu Dhabi or Dubai, kind of a mix between the two, watching Chelsea for the semi and the final. He is also hitting 10K. Yeah? You need to understand this. It's not no joke. Come on. My brother. Let me full screen you.
Honestly, thank you to each and every one of you guys, especially Matisse and Younes, everyone that's helped me out through my channel. Shout out to Ishan, shout out to Jonathan, shout out to Taryn, shout out to every single one that has participated in my channel and helped drive this channel to where it is now. 10,000 subscribers was the dream to hit when I was, when I'm here in Club World Cup. And, massive thank you to both of you guys in recent times doing a shout out for me on your channels. That's helped me reach that target. And it's incredible. I don't know how I can, sort of explain how fantastic this situation has been. So hold on, I've just got family all over me talking. I can't even do this show. Can everyone be quiet for a moment? The man has hit 10,000 subscribers. Can I get some quietness?
Man's moving like one of them young Arab sheikhs. Like, hey, you do as I say. I hit 10K.
Can I get some respect here?
Double digits. Tell them.
Nah, man, it's been brilliant, man. Thank you heaps to each and every one of you guys and the viewers, the subscribers, all the fans, the Chelsea fans, all the fans that bumped into me yesterday as well and coming up and saying hello. It just, honestly, unbelievable experience. Very humbling experience. Thank you to each of you guys. Honestly.
Yeah. It's mad, bro. Like, honestly, it's the trip is looking quite perfect right now. Obviously, we won yesterday. We need to obviously play better than that against Palmeiras, but it's looking like a great trip so far. Younes, bro, how are you doing? We're obviously in London. Do you know what I'm saying? Not so scenic. We're not seeing so much beautiful scenery. But how are you?
Yeah, what we got here, grey skies as usual. Nothing changes.
Look at this comparison.
I mean, yeah, look at that. I mean, it's a joke. It's a joke, really. No, enjoy it out there, Miz. Enjoy it. But yeah, no, I'm good. Obviously, we're cool now. Obviously, we're in the final of the Club World Cup. Where, on that aspect, you take the result. It is what it is. But yeah, we gotta play better because Palmeiras, I think, will be better than Al Hilal. So yeah, we got up our ante. But yeah, we're one step away from winning that thing that we've never won. So let's hope, man. Let's hope Saturday.
Yeah, and there's so much talking points from this match, even though it wasn't the greatest performance, especially in the second half. We were really, really poor. Massive drop off in terms of the levels. Obviously, first half, I thought we dominated around 60% possession, I think, in the first half. Dominated, created chances, didn't take all of them, unfortunately. I thought Lukaku was awful before his goal. I know a lot of people will obviously say it's great for him to get the goal, and hopefully that pushes the confidence. But before the goal, he was absolutely awful in terms of just, again, the ball control, the moments he had 1v1, and obviously the missed kick for the ball that came across the box. But I want to start with Kepa, because Kepa this week has had a great week. He's had one of those weeks. Do you know what I mean? Kepa saved us really twice now in a week. Saving the penalty, which Malang Sarr gave away against Plymouth. Obviously now making a massive save in this game as well. It was a brilliant save in the second half. Again, the conversation will come, and it has arrived, and it will be here, and we will discuss right now. Does he play in the final? We know Mendy's back now. We know he's back from the AFCON. Brilliant win for Senegal. Saved the penalty in that game as well. But does Kepa start in the final? For me, I'm going to throw myself under the bus immediately. For me personally, I'm still playing Mendy. I'm still going with the strongest goalkeeper. I'm going with the strongest possible team, because it's not like Mendy's. If Mendy was out of the team because of a lack of form, then I would probably go Kepa. But because Mendy's only been out the team because of AFCON, and I know this comment section going blow up right now, and they go and slander me and say, "This is incredible. This is an absolute catastrophe. This is a disgrace." Yes, I know it is a disgrace. What I'm saying, I know that it's unfair for Kepa. I know he deserves to play this game on merit, but I'm just going with the strongest possible team. I'm going with the better goalkeeper, and I'm saying right now, if we do go to penalties, Kepa, you sub him on immediately. You save a sub for Kepa.
Yeah.
He's that good at penalties. He's that much of an upgrade
five
on
subs
Mendy.
as well.
Yeah,
There's
five
five
subs. Exactly. He's that much of an upgrade on Mendy on penalties that I would actually save a sub for penalties if we go down to the wire with Kepa. I know it's not fair. I know he's not going to be happy, but everybody's got to put themselves after the bigger goal, which for me is getting the trophy. And I think Mendy's still the stronger goalkeeper. So, I mean, Miz, what do you make of that situation for Kepa and Mendy?
Man, first of all, I have to say that Kepa save, you don't understand the reaction the stadium had. Not just Al Hilal fans, which was more than 80% of it. They were just like, oh my God, how did we not score that? And then on top of that, we had a couple of Arab Chelsea fans right in front of us. And Jonathan was right next to me. As soon as he made that save, we just lost our marbles. We were like, oh my God. And these Arabs, they look back and they're like, Kepa. And it was like we celebrated a goal. That was an unbelievable save, first of all, from Kepa. And just before that, he made another brilliant 1v1 save as well. So, Look, Kepa is in some sensational form. There's no doubt about that. But Mendy, let's be honest, before he went away for AFCON, he was the number one goalkeeper. And, he was okay. Yeah, earlier on in the season, he was probably a little bit iffy. But at the end of the day, he's still the main goalkeeper. He went to AFCON, bossed it. The African champion coming back. And I've got no issues for Kepa playing the semi-final, and he's done well. And now Mendy takes over the final. We should just be happy the fact that we've got two sensational keepers at the moment. And I've got no issues with Mendy playing in the final. To all the people that think, but Kepa deserves it, look, it is what it is, man. Mendy is our number one. Let's not forget all the saves, the big saves that Mendy's made for us in the Champions League and also in the Premier League. So, look, just like you, Matisse, I want our number one goalkeeper to slot back in. So I'm all happy. I've got all respect for Kepa, but Mendy needs to stop.
Yeah, and Younes, what do you make of it? Because it is difficult, isn't it? When especially I think face to face, as fans who don't get to see these players, it's easier for us to make that decision on our head that Mendy should start. But for a manager, especially maybe the assistant manager, to go to Kepa and say you're not starting the final, that is a very difficult conversation to have, especially in the form that he's in since Mendy's been away. But what would you want to see, or what would you do?
Yeah, because there's pros and cons, isn't it? Like, prior to AFCON, Mendy was number one. Kepa wasn't playing, except for some cup competitions. Now, Mendy's gone away because he's had to, and he's done well at the AFCON. He's won the AFCON, and not just that, in the final, he saved the penalty, So he can just come slotting right back in. But at the same time, Kepa, since Mendy's been gone, has been fantastic, man. I think this has been his best form at Chelsea throughout his time at the club. So it'd be wrong, wouldn't it, to just go, you're not playing the final, when he's been throughout the process, to get to the final. So I've got a solution. I reckon, look, Tuchel, better check in the dressing room. Get Mendy, get Kepa. All right, listen. You're going to have to agree with what happens here. Yeah? We're going to do this properly. Mendy...
Younes about to do a madness.
Mendy is heads, Kepa is tails. We're doing a coin toss, right? It's heads. Mendy starts. That's it.
Wait, what heads and tails? Do rock, paper, scissors, man. What happened to that?
Oh, yes. That's
do you remember that
God,
Newcastle owner was doing
Get them to do rock, paper, scissors?
Do you remember that Newcastle owner that was doing rock, paper, scissors and they were trying to shake hands? It was the most... so funny, man, to watch. Honestly, it was hilarious.
But yeah, no, honestly, honestly, I would want to play Kepa. I think it's deserved just for this competition. It's deserved, but I would be happy with Mendy playing, even if it went to penalties. I mean, I never thought I'd see Mendy save a penalty in my life. He done it at the AFCON for Senegal. So, I mean, great. So both of them are on fire. Both of them are on form. We got a great problem.
Yeah. It is a nice problem to have. It's two players in good form that could start this game. So it is a lovely problem to have, but it had to be a special mention for Kepa at the start of the show because he was brilliant. I know Kova gets man in the match. Ziyech was very good in the first half as well. He'd probably be the standout in the first half in terms of players as well. But Kepa, Kepa in the second half.
Everyone in the stadium said he was the man of the match. Like,
oh, really?
Was the man of the match. Yeah. Everyone was saying it was Kepa. Kepa kept us in the game. Like, second half was all Al Hilal. How they didn't score in the second half, I will not know. And the stadium, exactly. And the stadium was absolutely cheering Al Hilal on. We were worried because every time we would cheer, Al Hilal boos would just like absolutely swallow us up. Every time we'd be like, Chelsea, boo, and we're like, okay, sorry. It was just incredible support. So kudos to Kepa for keeping us in the game, man. He was definitely man of the match, no doubt.
Yeah, I said in my review, I felt like they deserved to get something out of the game. They should have been taking us to extra time with the performance they put in the second half. They had about 60% possession for the majority of that half. They completely dominated us in the second half. We was lucky to get out of a win. Kepa, like you said, is the reason for that. 100%.
Some of the moves in the second half that they had, man. Some of those actions, you saw it live, Miss. They look like prime Bayern Munich. Like I don't know, it looked like the way they were moving the ball around us. I'm like, yo, what's going on? This is Al Hilal.
I don't know who their right back is. I can't remember who that right back was. He undressed Alonso like other. He absolutely. We were sitting there because we were so close to the ground, right? And I got to see firsthand how slow Alonso is and how clumsy he is. And Jonathan was screaming at Alonso saying, how could you let Al Hilal right back rip you apart like that? That's Al Hilal. Like, come on, man. That's like, this is the levels that we're talking about where Alonso is getting ripped apart by Al Hilal. Like, no disrespect to Al Hilal. I know Egyptian, superstar team, but Chelsea Football Club.
Saudi Arabia, yeah.
Oh, are they Saudi?
It's not even Egyptian, it's Saudi.
Yeah, Saudi, yeah.
Okay, Saudi. How can you have Chelsea left wing back getting mauled by Saudi right back? Like, it's just, nah, man. Nah. It needs to change. Man. Malang Sarr for final, for sure.
Yeah. And I wanted Malang Sarr to start this game. Obviously, when you go and play a wing back now, that will obviously mean Alonso will come in, especially when you have Aspi on the other side. You don't want to be too defensive by going Malang Sarr and Azpilicueta as wing backs because you're setting yourself up to be too defensive. But Kennedy is back, and Alonso, the way that he was yesterday, getting absolutely shredded. I'm tempted to say that if we play left wing back again, I would actually just try Kennedy. Like, I really would. I would. If we're gonna go to
against Brazilians too.
Yeah. Exactly. He's not like as if he hasn't got some experience. He's got some experience.
Insider trading.
Exactly. Do you know what I'm saying? It's like, if we're gonna go to a back four, then obviously Malang Sarr comes in. Despite the penalty he gave away against Plymouth, and I still don't think he's the perfect solution. He's for me obviously better than Alonso at left back. And if you're gonna go left wing back, I'd try Kennedy. Do you know what I mean? Kennedy's being brought back from the loan. You may as well give him a go. Now, I don't really want to see Kennedy's first game in a final. I think that's a lot of pressure. So hopefully it is Malang Sarr that comes in. But if we've got easier games potentially coming up, or we do have Luton away from home in the next round of the FA Cup, that could be an opportunity for Kennedy to start. And maybe a so-called easier game in the Premier League if we play wing backs. Then you have to give Kennedy a go. So yeah, Alonso. I mean, listen, for me, my conspiracy was if we just try to fade Alonso out as much as possible for the rest of the season, he might get unsettled and want to actually move himself in the summer. Whereas if we keep playing him, and he's going to think everything's fine, and he's going to end up staying again for next season. And Cucurella, we've been linked with from Brighton. I would take him in a heartbeat.
Let's do this.
I felt so good to see us linked with that name. When I saw the
Bring
report, I'm
him
like,
home.
oh, finally.
Younes, this is the first time I'm going to say it. Bring it home. Football's coming
Completely,
home.
man.
Bring
Oh,
him home.
Cucurella. Cucurella in a Chelsea shirt. Oh, man, that would be mental. That's See, now that is a signing I approve completely.
Yeah. I don't know how much it would cost to get him out of Brighton, but the fact that we're linked, I was like, okay, cool. I like our targets right now. This is looking better. Now, execution is just as important as the tracking, the monitoring, the scouting, the thinking, the approaching. So many words they want to use. The execution and the official signing is just as important, guys. But yeah, Cucurella over Alonso every single day of the week, and I've been petitioning almost and begging and pleading to get Alonso moved on for the summers, the last like 2 or 3 summers. Oh, look at that, beautiful. For the last 2 or 3 summers.
I've just arrived in Abu Dhabi.
Yeah. Dubai and Abu Dhabi look very similar, don't they? This is like both of them just look like
Dubai is just very, very tall, high-rise buildings, and it's party non-stop.
Oh, really?
Abu Dhabi's Dubai's crazy, man. It's just non-stop. They don't sleep 4 a.m., 5 a.m., 6 a.m. in the morning. People are just still partying so hard. And Abu Dhabi is a lot more calmer. Like it's relaxed, it's chilled. It's still high rises, but not as high rise, like not as tall as Dubai. Dubai, they literally want to touch the sky. They really want to touch the sky. I was in front of Burj Khalifa, which is about 800 meters tall, nearly a kilometer long building, and now they're building another tower, which is going to be 1.5 kilometers long, apparently. 1.5 kilometers long, like
double the Burj Khalifa.
Yeah, upwards. Like,
I hope they are. That's safe because
I don't think that's normal, bruv. That's gonna topple. That's just the wind will just blow.
A little bit of wind, and my lord, do you know what I'm saying?
I don't know what they're thinking around here. Whatever they do, they want to do big, everything big.
That's mental, man.
It's mad, isn't it? Another performer that I want to talk about that obviously his future is very up in the air, but I thought he was very good yesterday was Christensen. I thought he was very aggressive. I thought he was very on the front foot, stepped into the higher positions quite well to intercept and to start attacks. And he just reminded me that despite the fact that he's probably leaving, I would actually want him to stay. You know, it would be a lot easier if he didn't leave. I think it's more probably important that we do keep Rudiger because I think he's going to be more difficult to replace as a left-sided centre-back. I think as a right-sided centre-back, there's probably more options out there. Your Koundés and a few others. I know we've been linked with De Ligt and others as well. But ideally, you just want both of them to stay. It would be a lot easier on us if we didn't have to replace the centre-backs. We could focus on other areas of the pitch. If maybe if we got, you know, to keep both centre-backs, we could maybe get 2 midfielders or we could get, you know, another attacker or something. So, you know, the money will be dispersed in some way, shape or form, and we will take the hit for maybe losing Christensen. But I thought he was very good. But I want to talk about the loss of control from the first half to the second half and what you guys, why that was in your opinion. Was it a drop off from the pressing from the forwards? Was it the substitution at halftime of Jorginho and Kante, which obviously happened? And then for me, Kante, when he came on, he wasn't great, gave the ball away quite a few times, was dispossessed. Where do you think, or do you think it was just naturally Al Hilal just attacking, you know, and being more on the front foot? For me personally, no disrespect to them, even with the second half, them being on the front foot and wanting to get that goal, there should still be spells in that second half where we control, where we take the sting out of the game, where we have possession, and we shouldn't be on the back foot for an entire 45 minutes against them. Just because they want to score. So I'm not really taking that excuse. Some people will say maybe it's the weather, the heat. I don't know how hot it was. Miz will probably be able to tell us better than anyone how hot it was out there.
It was cold. It was cold.
Oh, really?
It was not hot. It was not hot.
Some people will say it's the weather.
I got comments telling me, the players can't play in this heat. That's
mad. What I heard. And I was like, excuse me?
It was, guys, it's generally okay heat during the day. And when I mean okay heat, it's about 26, 27 maximum during the day. At night, around 8:30 when the game started, there was a nice cool breeze. Like the fact that I didn't take a jacket made a big mistake. I was feeling cold, and there's no way it's the weather. The weather was fantastic for football. Fantastic. They cannot complain about the heat. No way you can complain about the heat because this time of the year over here, it's not that hot. If had this been around April, May, no chance. 50
Chaos.
degrees, they'd be burning. Yeah, but it was perfect. It was perfect weather.
Yeah, I mean, Younes, what do you put down the second half kind of slack in terms of control? Because second half we were really just defending and trying to hit them on the break, and even still we couldn't really string 4 or 5 passes together. It was quite poor in the second half, the turnovers we were having.
This is the issue, because even in the first half where we were in control, we were slow. Miz was there, and I think he'd be able to see it firsthand. But the way we were passing and moving the ball, even in control, was just slow. And that was when we were in control. Now, you put a circumstance of Al Hilal or a goal down, they need to score, they need to give it their all, they have to throw the kitchen sink, they ain't got a choice. And if you keep playing with that tempo, you're going to, drop. And I think that's what's happened. I don't know why we're playing as slow as we're playing. That's what's concerning me, because against an Al Hilal, like, we're accustomed to Premier League football. We should be able to find it tough sometimes against Premier League opposition where the ball's moving around quickly and the tempo of the game's fast. So you've got to move fast. But against Al Hilal, they're not accustomed to that sort of level. So I'm looking at that going, okay, we should find it easier to play to our tempo that we want to play and move at that level that they can't handle. And we weren't doing that. We were just moving very slow. And that was the whole game. So I wasn't surprised when I started seeing Al Hilal get good portions in the second half. I'm just like, I hope we don't concede. But should we be in that situation in the first place? No. And I can't put my finger on it. I actually can't. I don't know what is causing us to just play slow. I don't know. I actually don't know.
Yeah.
What I saw live, like watching, and Matisse and Younes, you guys watch a lot more, like from the stadium. Like, this was my opportunity after a very, very long time. It's very difficult sometimes because you don't get to see the entire situation. But from what I saw, right, a few things. Younes is bang on. First of all, the finer details that you get to see when you go to a stadium. There's so many times our flanks, whether it be Aspie or whether it be Havertz on the left side, they're open and they're literally begging for the ball to be whipped into them immediately. They're saying, just cut it through to us so that we can break. But for some reason, and this is one thing, Jonathan, he made a very, very good comment throughout the match. He was saying, why do we have to go through every phase? Defense to midfield to offense. Why not defense to offense? Like, skip the midfield and whip a ball in directly to the wingers, whoever's out wide. But for some reason, we want to go to each section by section of the field, and it slows things down, and we were moving the ball very slowly as well. I don't know why. The other factor was second half. Our strikers, Lukaku, did not press, and then that left Havertz and Ziyech to do too much pressing for 2 people. If you're going to have a team that's going to press, but one of the players are not going to do their job, then it's a broken press. And then they also attacked the wing backs. So they knew there was a complete flaw on Alonso's side, and there was a flaw on Aspie's side, and they were direct. They were going at them, which then meant we would get pushed back and back and back because we need to cover for those guys now. And we just got nervous. You could feel it in the stadium. The players were getting nervous. And that's when, our defense started dropping deeper and deeper, and they were pushing forward and forward. How you change that? You need to be aggressive. You need to press back. You need to counter-press them back. You can't allow that kind of pressure to continue on, because I'll tell you right now, Palmeiras, I spoke to a guy after the match. There was a lot of Palmeiras fans, actually. They were saying, we're going to get you guys in your wing backs. We got pace. And yeah, man, like, we better wake up. I don't know what it is. Is it the fact that our players are just worried to make a mistake? I don't know, boys. But it was clear to see in the stadium yesterday that some of the passing was just very slow. It was as if they didn't want to make a mistake. But at the end of the day, it was just detrimental.
It's true, because before the game, they was talking about, us bringing our Premier League tempo to the match and trying to raise the level from an athletic standpoint to try and catch them out. Because, of course, technically, look at this.
Say hello. Say hello. Hi.
Adorable.
Quality.
That is beautiful. Trying to catch us off of the speed and the tempo of the match. But unfortunately, we weren't we weren't matching. We weren't putting Premier League pace into that match, you know, and we just kind of came down to their tempo, and we weren't moving the ball quickly. And it's not the first time we've criticised Chelsea for not moving the ball quickly enough and not asserting themselves on the match. And
especially recently.
Yeah, and even still, it should have been more than a goal up. As I kept saying it on my watch along time and time again, if we don't get this second goal, the second half and the last 10, 15 minutes is going to be a problem for us, because it happens every single time. It's so predictable. We have to get the second goal to make it comfortable. I keep saying it. In football, 1-0 is never enough. And although we was very comfortable in the first half, one goal is never enough. And we are quite lucky that Kepa had a great day. In the fact that he could stop us from conceding the equalizer, because if it's a normal day for a goalkeeper, we concede at some point and we're going to extra time, and that shouldn't be happening in this fixture. So I'm glad to hear the weather accusations.
That's false. That's false. False.
Fake news. Fake news.
Who was saying that? Who was saying that?
I just got comments. I think Matisse has got comments. It was just some comments saying, "Oh, maybe we couldn't handle this heat. Maybe, you know, the fact that it was hot." And I'm just like, I don't know, but clearly it was fresh. So that's not an excuse. That's actually the sort of situation you want to play in. What I want to add, especially when Miz talks about being able to shift the ball directly from defense to attack. If you're playing in a back three, you're playing with wing backs. That's the ideal way, and that's what we're used to, especially with Reece James and Chilwell. If Chelsea choose not to do that, I can understand it, but that means don't play a back three. We're flawed. Because if you're going to constantly, it's demanding. Remember, on the wing backs, it's demanding. You got to be physically at the top of your game. You got to be fast, because there's so much running that's required. If you need your wing backs to bomb forward in order for a centre back to diagonally send the ball across, and he's got to pick it up. If he picks it up, he picks it up. If he doesn't pick it up, he's running back. And he has to get back into position. And then the same again, because that's just going to keep going throughout the rest of the game. Alonso can't keep up. Aspie can't keep up. Ben Chilwell and Reece James can. But if we're going to be doing that, you're going to tire them out properly. So if they're choosing not to do that, I can understand. But that means we are already limited in what we can do. That means the whole thing is flawed, which results in us having to pass very short and get, you know, slow, predictable. It was very predictable the way we were trying to attack. That's why, look, for the final, I want us in a back four, and up until Reece James and Chilwell come back, I just think it's not fit enough for us to play a back three. It's just
we saw with them on the pitch before the game as well. Reece James and Chilwell, man, bloody hell, we need them back. Do you know what I mean? But I want to move into the attack as well, because I think Ziyech in the first half was again just the main guy trying to create chances. He was at times on the right hand side. He was twisting up people, and I'm like, this is the Ziyech now that we need to be seeing. This is the form that he's in that we need to be seeing for the rest of the season. Because do you know what it is with Ziyech is he doesn't have the blistering pace to obviously get himself out of jail in tight situations. So that means his ball control has just got to be A1. Like, it's got to be the best of the best, because he's not the quickest. And yesterday in the first half, I thought he was by far the best attacker. I thought Kai was good as well down the left. He was making good runs, carrying the ball, had a good couple of situations. Obviously, he was involved in the goal, hit the post, I believe, as well from a tight angle. I think those two were really good. But Ziyech was really good again. And Ziyech is showing, you know, he had a half volley that was saved as well. Ziyech is showing that he wants to now have this influence on the team. And a lot of people talk about formation. Again, I don't think it's all on formation. I think it's much more on any potential private conversation between Tuchel and Ziyech to say, listen, you're out the Morocco team. I need you to be in form here, and you need to step it up. You know what I mean? And you need to come correct, because ever since I think it was maybe a month or a month and a half ago, even in the back three when he was playing well at Watford, you know, it's not just back four, back three as well. When he's given this amount of instruction or responsibility tactically as well in the back four as well. But the guy, he's just much quicker in his movements, you know. And I always say, I think his off the ball actions reflect what he does on the ball. I think when Ziyech is pressing and winning his duels, and yesterday his duels is good. Again, involved in the game, involved in many duels, pressing aggressively. His actions on the ball then are a lot quicker as well. You know, when he gets the ball now, his feet are moving a lot faster. He's not coming with this nonchalant type attitude on the pitch. He's aggressive. he's looking to make things happen. He's been direct, and I think the last few games he's been absolutely brilliant, you know. And I think for me personally, I need to see it continue. I've always said I think in the last few weeks the biggest thing for Ziyech to stay in form is to avoid injury. Every time Ziyech picks up a little bit of form, he gets a knock or he gets an injury, and then he's out for a few weeks or a month, and then he comes back and then he has to get back started again. If he can just stay in this position, I don't want to see him on the left again. Just whether it's a 3 or 4, keep him on the right. I think there's no need to move him. Reece James will be back in a few weeks. Hopefully he can come into the team as well instead of Aspie. I think that'll be a big upgrade for Ziyech to partner with. Mason Mount's had a good link up with him as well in the last game. But if you could just keep Ziyech on the right and let him keep performing, and hopefully he keeps performing for the rest of the season, then there'll be no question marks over him in the summer. He'll be one of the people that we have to keep. So, I mean, Miz, what did you make of it live and direct with Ziyech playing that way in the first half?
He was so good, and the whole stadium as well, and not just Chelsea fans. There was a lot of Saudi fans and just the local fans. They were just screaming out Hakim Ziyech, Hakim Ziyech. Like they're fans of Hakim Ziyech over there. And he was so brilliant on that right side. I think what's happening with Ziyech though, I don't know whether you guys have noticed this. We kind of noticed it live. Is that cut back in and then whipping it with his left. Keepers now know that we know which way you're going. There's one area that you're trying to hit. We're going to be there. So that particular goalkeeper from Al Hilal, there was a couple of times where Ziyech lined up. He was already moving to that right side. So maybe it's now up to Ziyech to find a different angle as well, where not just whip it in that, left side, but sometimes go near post. Sometimes crack it to catch them off guard. So that's one thing that he can do, I suppose, with the ball. The other thing is he's playing with players that are not moving smartly, man. Lukaku's not moving smartly. So his game is being compromised. Do you know what I mean? And he's not getting the purchase at times from Azpilicueta. And I'm not having a go at Azpilicueta. He doesn't have the legs to bomb up and give him that extra option. And
even so, Aspie done all right. He done all right.
Aspie done all right. So Ziyech's game is not going to be the complete package unless we see Reece James comes back, Chilwell come back, midfield zipping the ball a lot quicker. So, yeah, I mean, as good as he's been in recent times, it's always going to be a bit incomplete in my eyes because everyone else is kind of lacking. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Younes, what do you make of Ziyech? Because at the moment, for me, in terms of attackers to go in the summer, he's if he keeps this up, he's definitely not on the list for me. He's performing now to the level that if he can consistently do this for the rest of the season, this is what we want from Ziyech in his prime, isn't it, at Chelsea?
Completely, yeah. And this is the consistency that we were talking about, because we've seen Ziyech now for the past, even prior to the break, the past 5-6 games now, he's been setting a very good standard. That's what we want to see. Now keep that up. Keep it up. Now I understand there's going to be a game here or there where you might dip a little bit. Cool, that's normal, but you keep that consistency up. We want to see that sort of performance from everyone in that front line and in that attacking phase. Whether it's on the left wing, whether it's a striker, everyone needs to do that collectively together. So with Ziyech, I'm very happy. But I hear what Miz is saying as well, man. And I think, in terms of the players around him right now, he can be limited. He can be limited. It's not just the Ziyech show. This needs to be everyone performing, and Ziyech is a big part of that, So yeah, we'll see what happens, but everyone needs to get their acts together properly in terms of the movement. I stress this: our movement is what's seems to be letting us down. We're slow. And yesterday, Ziyech was probably the only one, alongside Kovacic, you could say, who looked at least somewhat quick. So yeah, and up until when Ziyech came off, he was great. When he came off, you could just see it was like that one player that we had in that attacking phase that was actually doing something properly. We took off. So yeah, Ziyech, I think he needs to keep that up. He's doing great. He's retired from international football now. He's not going back to Morocco ever again. That's done. Because I think he knows that Morocco aren't going to sack this manager. So he's got no chance. So now he's at our disposal fully. But if he keeps this up in the summer, he definitely stays.
Do you know what, Younes? I know we laugh a lot about Timo Werner, but if you remember, there's been a lot of clean, excellent passes that Ziyech has been able to find Timo Werner with because of his movement. Although Timo never finished those movements off, but at least the movements created the opportunity for Ziyech to find a pass. With Lukaku, he's so static in between the defenders, two CBs, and then he takes the wrong decision at times to go either left or right when he should be doing the other thing. It kind of makes it look like Ziyech is having a bad game, but it's not. It's not Ziyech who's having a bad game. It's his teammates who are not giving him an option to do something. So is it probably worthwhile to perhaps have Werner and Havertz along with Ziyech? At least they move around. At least they give him some sort of option. Something to think about, man.
I'll tell you what, like yesterday, we saw Southampton against Spurs, didn't we?
Yeah.
If you get Broja in this team, he moves. He moves.
Bro,
I think that would elevate Ziyech. Yeah.
If we sell Broja, it's the biggest criminal activity in world football.
It is. Yeah, it actually is. We should be held on trial at the International Criminal Court.
Well, do you know what? That brings us on to the striker, because I don't know what you guys said in your reviews on Lukaku. I'm interested to see what your opinions are on his performance. But my comments on my review, I'm getting some people saying to me that I'm being too harsh.
I get it too.
I'm not giving him enough credit. You're still butthurt over the interview. Listen. Let me make it very, very clear. Let me make this abundantly clear to anybody watching me when it comes down to Romelu Lukaku. Let me make this abundantly clear. I said I'm not accepting or interested in any apology. I'm only interested in performance. We always talk about moments, players. I want general performance to be better. Because Ziyech got 0 GA in the performances against Plymouth. And guess what? He was good. He probably got man of the match for us. And because his general performance was good, because we watched the game and he was good. You don't have to get GA to have a good performance, and you don't just get GA and suddenly have a great performance. That's not how it works. And when it comes to Lukaku, let me read out his stat line for anybody who thinks that I'm capping because I'm butthurt, right? You got your goal, and let's keep it a buck. The goal came from not incredible movement, not incredible play, but across from Kai, and then a defensive error where the player headed it back across goal and Lukaku stabbed it in. Not because
his eyes got caught in the light, I think he was saying.
Yeah. So let's not try and pretend like as if this wasn't any different to Timo Werner having a poor game and then getting a tap in, and then the world doesn't change people. Okay. Stat line: two dribble attempts, 0 successful. Obviously 1 big chance missed. 0 crosses, 0 long balls. Okay, that's fine. Not expecting crosses or long balls. Ground duels 4, 0, 1. Aerial duels 3, 0, 1. So 7 duels, none of them were won. None of his duels were won. 3 offsides in this game. If you watch Lukaku before that goal and you want to try and pretend to me and pretend like he was good, then I don't know what you want, because I'm not going to sit here and lie. He was frustrating, and every single Chelsea fan that was watching him was cussing. Every single Chelsea fan that was watching him before that goal was like, this is ridiculous. You're missing chances. The ball's coming across the box. You're miskicking it again for the second time. You're messing up attacks with the dribbling 1v1. So if you want me to lie, I'm not going to lie. I'm going to say it how it is. For me, not good enough still. Not good enough. I'm not going to drop the standards because he's been so poor recently. Now he gets 1 goal with a pretty average performance, and it's much better. No, you're not playing to the level you need to play to. You're still not at the level you need to play to. So we're still waiting. That's as simple as that. I'm not going to start dropping the standards. What people do in this fan base is they watch a player play really poorly for so long that they have no expectations or standards for that player. So then when they give them a little goal, a little tap in, oh, he's much better. No, he wasn't. Use your eyes. You go and watch it again. You go and watch it again. You tell me if that's good enough for a leading goal scorer. Because right now, he's playing like an academy product, if you want me to keep it a buck. Players from the academy can come in and put in these performances.
That's disrespect to the academy players, bro.
Bro, players from the academy, players that are young, players that are developing, like Tammy Abraham and Broja, can come in and score a tap in. Players like Ogbo in pre-season can score a tap-in and have 0 duels won. So if you think this is good enough for the leading world-class striker, then your standards are in the absolute fucking mud. Because I can get a young players can do what he did today. And he's not meant to be a young player. He's meant to be fully finished, fully in his prime. So I'm not dropping my standards for Lukaku. He still didn't play good enough in my opinion. So we can agree to disagree on that for people in the comment section that think that I'm not objectively looking at him. I want Lukaku to play properly. He's playing games. So if he's going to play, I need him to play properly. It's nothing to do with any agenda. It's nothing to do with the interview. I am now judging him objectively to the level he should be playing at, that we signed him for. And he's not reached that level. So until he reached that level, I'm going to criticize him. It's as simple as that. I mean, Younes, what did you make of his performance?
Before Younes has a chance to say, I just want to quickly say, fans in the ground all throughout the game. Even there was a moment for 5 minutes after he scored where he looked like he was a little bit interested. He was busy. He looked fine. But all the stats that you've read out, Matisse, that's absolutely what we saw as well. It was pretty crazy how he was getting bullied by Al Hilal defenders. But one thing that Chelsea fans were screaming out throughout the match, they were saying literally, this is no joke, because I was there, right? And you guys can ask Jonathan as well. They were screaming out, Lukaku, holiday's over, time to leave. Just holiday's finished. You had your time. Good time here in UAE. Now you can leave. That's how people live were feeling about Lukaku. So this isn't me making things up. This is literally all the Chelsea fans that were screaming out for him to go. So, I mean, yeah, Younes, up to you now, bro.
Look, I agree with everything Matisse said there, man. I thought you were spot on. Here's the thing, man. There are fans that are trying to claw out a positive out of somewhere. That's what it is. They're just like, we got to find something, and then ride it, and let's hope that it'll get better. And I understand that, because, you know, if you're constantly looking at, you know, say it's going wrong, it's just constantly going wrong, and you keep focusing on that, you know, some people don't like that energy. Fair enough. But truth is truth.
Facts.
Truth is truth, and I'm not going to shy away from that. It's as simple as that. I said it on my watch along. If he puts in a performance, smashes a ball straight into the top corner, bullies defenders, and gets a hat trick, I'm going to give him the highest praise that there is to give.
Exactly.
It's as simple as that. And you're right. People automatically link, this is because of the interview. No, we've put that was a factor. We've put that to bed. And now we're going, you've put yourself in a situation. You've put yourself in a predicament. Yes, you apologized. Very PR as it looked. That's up for interpretation. But after that, you're going to be judged on your performance, and you're going to be judged on your performance a little bit more severely because of what's happened. However, we're going to keep it real. If you manage to put in a good performance, you put in a good performance. If you put in a stinker, we're going to say you've put in a stinker. This has been 6 or 7 games on the trot, including Chesterfield, where he'd scored one, yes, but again, similar circumstances, got a tap-in from 2 yards out. He scored 2 tap-ins in 2 yards out for the past 7 or 8 games or whatever it is. That's not 100 million. This is the thing. If we got this guy for 15 million, yeah, no one would be bothered. Everyone would be like, yeah, this is what we expect.
Well, he'd be benched, really, if we're being honest. If he cost 15 million, he'd be on the bench.
Exactly. He'd be on the bench. That's the whole thing. And now I understand also there is a case. Why is he playing? From a financial standpoint, Chelsea are probably looking at this. He has to play, because if we even want to sell him, we got to try and keep his value. Now, right now, it's getting shot in the foot because he's putting in performances like that. But if you don't play him at all, well, the value's dipping anyway. So from a financial aspect, and this is why I hate when money intervenes in football, but this is what it is in terms of a business. From a footballing standpoint, he doesn't make it into my team at all. At all. This isn't good enough whatsoever. You know, he's so heavy-footed. The guy is it's like his boots are stuck to the ground. And if you've even played at least a remote amount of football, no matter what level, even as a striker, you know, in terms of being able to try and beat your man, try and create space, come deep to help your teammates if you're isolated, you know, show that strength, cover well, link up, but look interested. Doesn't even look interested, man. And that's the bare minimum. So when I'm seeing people praise, we got a goal. Well, yeah, good start. That's what I expect from a £100 million player. I hope he can score a goal from 2 yards out. That would be great. You know,
bro,
if he can't do that, we're stupid.
Bro,
This is my problem.
What you said is absolutely spot on. It's people clutching at straws, and they want some element of positivity to cling on to, because he's been so poor for so long that they're actually tired of hearing the same thing. So they want us to come with some new perspective. You're not going to get it until he actually gives you a new performance. You're not going to get no new perspective from me. It's not going to happen. I'm not going to force it. I'm not going to force positivity. And I'll tell you why, because it's double standards once again. Because if Marcos Alonso is playing poorly for 5-6 games on the trot, and we criticize him for 5-6 games on the trot, no one's got a problem, because it's Marcos Alonso. But because it's Lukaku and people have got a little bit of emotional attachment, or because he costs so much and people know we need him to do well, then they want to clutch at straws. It's not going to happen. I am giving him the same objective analysis that I'm going to give for players that you don't like Alonso, that you're more than happy to sell. And if he plays well, I can't wait for that day. But it wasn't yesterday. It wasn't. And just because you get a goal that takes us to a final, again, that one moment where a defender makes an error and you get a tap in, that isn't going to cover up your general play for the entire first half. You was a bit better after the goal, but again, it's not enough. It's just me being honest. It's as simple as that. If people don't like that, that's their business. But it's me being honest. It's not good enough. It's not good enough, and it's not. You're not doing enough to warrant a spot in the starting 11, because I find it so funny. Someone that can be 21 like Hudson-Odoi can put in that performance, and my comments will be, can't finish, should leave the club immediately. You didn't pay anything for Hudson-Odoi. He's 21. You didn't pay anything for him. But the 28-year-old, 100 million striker with the ego that you would expect to be giving you proper performances consistently, because he's been in the league before, he can go on a poor run, but then he gives you one little goal. It's the equivalent. It's literally equivalent of Hudson-Odoi scoring against Chesterfield, what he did yesterday. He got the goal against Chesterfield, or he got the goal against Al Hilal, and now suddenly it's like everybody changing their tune and saying, oh my God, he's back. Give it a rest, honestly. The double standards for me is crazy. I'm not gonna let up until I see some proper performances from this guy. I mean, it's the bare minimum we should be getting after everything that's happened, after all the pressure he's put on the manager over those few weeks to be dealing with his situation. It's the bare minimum we can get now, some proper performances. I'm pretty sure most Chelsea fans, after that drama took place, was expecting better performances from Lukaku since that day. And we have not got anywhere near what we was expecting to get. He is yet to play as well as he played against Aston Villa and against Brighton. Those two performances before that came out, those two performances were very good. The Aston Villa one was brilliant. I think he got man of the match against Aston Villa, won a penalty, scored a goal. He was brilliant that day. He is yet to reach that level of performance. And we're not talking about playing well against top teams in the world. We're talking about Al Hilal. We're talking about Plymouth on the weekend. We're talking about a depleted Tottenham team that everybody played well against. Everybody in that first half was pretty good, in my opinion. Like, decent to good. He was the only person that I would say not great, you know?
It's
maybe
true.
With a few others. It's not really good enough.
And overall... go on, Mitch, go on.
I was just going to say, do you know the issue is we're in such a predicament at the moment with Lukaku. Like, we're in a mess. Like, we can't sell this guy. Do you know what I mean? We literally cannot sell this guy at the moment. And if we do, we're gonna have, like, people talk about, let's cut our losses. We're gonna have to cut our losses like maybe 50% of it. Do you know what I mean? That's just not. Which team out there is gonna buy Lukaku for 80 million or 70 million even? No one. We'd have to sell him for about 40, 50 million, and that financially is not viable. Like, you can take a loss, maybe 5 million, 10 million, 20 million max. But to take 50% loss is, we're stuck. And this is why it scares me, boys. A lot of people see us three. And once again, I'm not being arrogant, ladies and gentlemen. I'm just saying that.
Oh,
talk about timing.
They've cut him off completely.
To be continued next week, people.
Yeah, literally. They were like, yeah, that's enough. That's enough analysis on Lukaku.
All right. You left us on the cliffhanger.
Did I?
You left, yeah.
Am I back?
You're back. Yeah.
All right, cool. I don't know what happened there. That was Lukaku doing some madness over there. He knows. He's hearing. This is why, you know, us boys that lives and breathes news on a day-to-day basis, I'm worried that Broja will get sold. I'm actually, this is a legitimate thing because you can't get rid of Lukaku. You cannot get rid of Lukaku. And we're in a financial loss from the last season. Chelsea will be tempted to sell Broja if Southampton or any other team comes in for about 30, 35 million, 40 million. Newcastle apparently were shaping up a 40 million bid. I'm telling you right now, Chelsea will take that. They will take that because you literally cannot get rid of Lukaku. And if you can't get rid of Lukaku, Broja is not going to come in to warm the bench. Broja is now going to demand a starting position. And rightly so. He's starting for Southampton. He's Southampton's biggest player. Do you know what I mean? Like, we need to deep it. Do we just get rid of Lukaku, which we will take a big financial hit? Or we could try and be fancy. We could try and loan him and pay, 80% of his wages and bring in someone like Broja. But we're in a mess. We're going to have to hope that this guy bangs in goals pronto.
Yeah, it feels, for me, like I said, if the general performance was leading to an improvement, I would say that, because I would say, okay, cool, that performance overall was so good. You were involved in your duels, even if you won half of your duels, even if you won 25% of your duels, I'd be able to say, okay, he was able to improve on his overall performance. This could be a sign for a better performance against Palmeiras. We're heading in the right direction. But it doesn't feel like that. It feels like a pretty average display covered up by a nice tap in. And it feels like the same issue that we had with Timo Werner, which is that you're not even really exactly the same, but you've got your goal, but it doesn't really feel like it's leading to more goals. Do you know what I'm saying? It doesn't feel like it's going to lead to more top performances. I'm not getting that vibe from the goal. Maybe some people are, and if you are, then great. And I hope that you're right. But I didn't get a vibe from that performance that more goals are coming and more better performances are coming. That's not the vibe that I'm getting from that.
Here's the thing with Lukaku. I genuinely think there's a system problem as well. Like, yes, that there's a case of, him, and maybe he's shot with confidence, and obviously since what's happened, he's probably down. Maybe he doesn't want to be there. Maybe he's not interested. Yeah, cool. But at the same time, I think we've completely misread the situation. Even as a club, as a target to bring him in to play in this way, in how we play our football, I think now it's starting to show. When I had some good comments yesterday, the constructive ones anyway, because I know there was a lot that was saying we were harsh, but the constructive ones were like, it's no surprise that he was playing good football in a counter-attacking system under Antonio Conte. It's no surprise. And in Serie A. Now, you brought him to the Premier League, and at least if we were still a counter-attacking team, if you had brought Lukaku into this team when we still had a Conte or a Mourinho, maybe you'd get some output. Where we were more counter-attacking, trying to invite teams to press at us rather than do the opposite, create some space in behind. Therefore, maybe he can go on and find more angles, more space for him to get goals. And even so, the chances yesterday, this is what worries me, the chances yesterday. Do you remember when he had that nearly a one-on-one? He tried to drag the ball and then he left the ball behind him and had to slow down. The defender caught up and then he tried to go again. I'm like, where's your touch, man? But
Younes, I don't know if you remember, there was a chance as well where I can't remember who put that pass. Was it Kepa? Was it Havertz? But they put him on the plate for him on his left, and he beat the defender, and he was shooting with his left, and I think he shot it straight at the goalkeeper.
Straight at the goalkeeper.
Yeah. We cannot even say anymore that he doesn't get service. Like, I saw service yesterday. And I don't know what it is. I think it's a clear matter of he's not interested at the moment to be here. How can we snap him out of it? Can we sit down and do like a group huddle? Let's get the group together. Let's say it's Lukaku. Look, it's fine. You did the interview. You like Inter. We accept it. We're okay. You love Inter. You like Lautaro Martinez. Just play for us now. We're paying you the paycheck. Just play for us now. Whatever you did, you did. Let's move on and start banging in the goals. I think he's just caught up. He's just caught up the fact that he had to say sorry. And I feel like saying Chelsea Football Club needs to do an official statement and say, Lukaku, it's fine. It's okay. You want to do more interviews? Do more interviews. Just bang in some goals, man. Make me some goals, please.
I think this team as a whole are not good at counter-attacking at all. Like, when you look at Chelsea, the way they used to be good at counter-attacking, I remember under Conte as well, like you said, Costa, Willian, Hazard, even Andre Schürrle under Mourinho. The team used to be a lot better at counter-attacking, just in terms of, because counter-attacking is not just about pace. It's about decision-making. It's about weight of pass. It's about, awareness of your surroundings. This team, whenever they go into transition, this is not even just a Lukaku thing. It's the whole team. Whenever we counter-attack, we don't look good. And that's why I know what you're saying, Younes, about system. I don't even think if we wanted to be a counter-attacking team, we could. I think we've gone, and I don't even think we should. I don't think modern football, the top teams are playing counter-attack. That's not what the top teams are doing. They're dominating games. And I think we've done well in the last few years since Sarri to go into a mode of trying to have possession, control games, and dominate from the off, and have possession to defend that way, instead of trying to defend off the ball and throwing people in front of the ball and blocks and clearances and tackles and knee slides and interceptions. I think we've done very well over the last few years to change that idea of Chelsea defending, and more about us controlling games. And I think if we're to go and win silverware consistently, we do, for me, need to be controlling games, especially in this climate with the cases and all of the health issues. You don't really want to be defending on the edge of your box like that for the 90 minutes or for the 80 or 70 minutes. You want to be in control. You want to be able to dictate the tempo. You want to be able to have control of the match. And I think that's what we need to keep doing. So I do agree, though. He's probably a counter-attacking striker, and he's probably better suited to running into space. Although in transition and on counters, when he has had the opportunity, I don't think he's always been so devastating in counters. I think his decision-making at times have been a bit hit and miss. I think his weight of pass isn't always the best, which is a bit surprising, because at Inter Milan, he got so many assists. I think he had like 11 assists or 10 assists for the season. I expected his weight of pass to be a bit better, but that's been a bit up and down. But yeah, I don't think we're a very good attacking team. We're just, decision making is just so poor, even with time and space. 3v3s, I wouldn't trust us.
Yeah, completely. And on top of that, there's his first touch, which is letting him down again, which was an old problem that we thought had disappeared. But even at Inter Milan, you could see he was lean, he was fast, he would move. We're not getting that. Like, we're not even getting that. He's static, he's heavy. He's heavy-footed. His feet are literally glued to the ground. Moves like a snail. And it's like, what's happened? What's happened? I mean, he even looks heavier. It's just, that's not, I think, the profile of player that we thought we were buying. And even when he first joined, he didn't look like how he looks now.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's weird.
Obviously, we got the final on Saturday. Thomas Tuchel, whether he'll be at the stadium is one thing. I'm not sure on that one. I think he needs a negative.
I think he will be. Yeah, I think he will be. We'll see. I think
if he gets a negative test today or tomorrow, I think then he's allowed to fly out and be part of it on the Saturday, which would be great, because I do think it's important that he's there on the. I think it's going to give us a good extra 10-15% if he's there in person.
Yeah.
Especially for the final now, because it's going to be a difficult game, very, very difficult game. Like, I've heard that their defense, and I think Miz was saying as well, and he'll let us know even more about Palmeiras and their defense in terms of the weaknesses potentially. But going forward, some of the finishing that I saw in their semi-final game, it looked really good. Do you know what I mean? It looked very, very good. So it's fair to say I'm a little bit worried. I'm still confident that we'll win, but with their fans, and I know they will treat this like a Champions League final. We always relate it back to that, where the same nerves and excitement and pressure and dedication that we bring to a Champions League final against Man City in detail, that's the kind of level they're going to bring to this, because this is the World Cup final for them, as it should be, as it should be for us. It's an opportunity for them to go up against Europe's so-called best team at the time and to showcase why they are, up there with the best of them. And it's the only opportunity that they get in South America and in these continents, unless it's a pre-season game, which is never a good measurement of a team's level, because obviously there's always rotation. This is the one time in competitive game where they're going to get an opportunity once a year to play against the European champions. So it's a massive game, man, and I know they're going to turn up. If you guys remember the Corinthians game, which I'm sure you do, it was like being in a cauldron. It felt like Anfield on a Champions League night. That's how it felt. It was just everything, wave after wave from them. Every single tackle, we know they're going to be aggressive. Every single duel, The fans as well are going to be vocal as hell. It's going to be a long game, man. Especially if we play the way we played in the second half, it's going to be a long game. If we play to our maximum, I still think it's going to be difficult, but I think we'll win, and potentially we could come out of there with a hopefully a comfortable win. But if we drop off for a second, it's going to be a very long day, man. I mean, what's your confidence going into this game, Miz? How are you feeling,
Bro? It was crazy. There were so many Palmeiras fans watching yesterday's game, right? And we were celebrating Chelsea's victory, and we were doing the video, we were doing the review after the game. And a couple of Palmeiras fans, one in specifically, his name's Edon. Edon, if you're watching, all you can eat Chelsea, shout out to you, Edon. He was screaming out and saying, "We got you. Palmeiras has got you." And I'm like, whoa, 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 Palmeiras fan, come here, come here. And then we had a full session with him, and he was so confident. He was saying there's 10,000 Brazilians that have traveled to this particular country to watch the final. And he was saying, this is bigger than our league. Like, he was literally saying, this is what we have lived for, this particular match. They are bringing it. They are bringing this like none other. They want to make history. Obviously, they've not won this. I think previously, as you know, Corinthians won. I think a long time ago, Santos might have won it as well. So Palmeiras gets the opportunity to be the next Brazilian team to do this. And we were saying to him that, what formation do you guys play? And he said, by the way, this video will be out later on if you guys want to watch this, speaking to the Palmeiras fan. And he was saying, we play a 3-4-2, 3-5-2. So I'm like, oh, wow, I had no idea. Like, they play three at the back as well. Yeah. And they play with two strikers. So we were saying, what's a place where you can hit us? Like, what do you think Chelsea's weakness is? He goes, your wing backs. You're going to get murdered. We've got a lot of pace in our wings. Like, their wing backs are the ones that produce a lot of their quality chances. And then he was saying, the stuff that Al Hilal missed, we are confident we will get them. And I said, look, Mendy's going to be back, baby. Don't disrespect Mendy. Don't you dare disrespect. But they were confident. He was like saying, we will put those chances away. We will put those chances away. He was mentioning Rafael Vara or Vira or whatever. He's one of their strikers up front. There's another player named Dudu, who's a very, very good player. Yeah. And they play counter-attacking football. So what? So wow. I said, what would be Palmeiras' plan from your perspective after watching Chelsea? He said, look, we are the underdogs. There's no doubt you guys are much better in terms of quality. He said, you're probably going to hold a lot of possession, but we will try and intercept and then hit with so much pace, and we'll try and finish it. If we can get one goal and go one in front, that's it, because then you need to come to us, and that whole game is their game. That is how they play. They play counter-attacking football. And I said, well, how do we get you guys? What's your weakness? Said that it's their centre-backs. Their centre-backs are not tall. They're not strong enough. They're, classic sort of Brazilian flair player type of players from the back. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. So he was saying the one way you guys can probably get us is if you go direct. If you can have Lukaku's physical presence, have it as well, go long, try and win the second balls, and then get your midfielders to come in and smash in the shots. I said, have you seen Lukaku play though? Forget about playing long.
But this could be one of the games where I don't have to read out a stat line of 0 duels completed, 0 duels won. Do you know what I'm saying? Maybe this is the game where Lukaku could actually win the duels, because I think that's huge for him. There was one moment where we played the ball into him and he bounced it back off to Ziyech, and Ziyech had the volley. That's that's what I need from Lukaku. There was one moment where he was coming off the right and he managed to shield the ball and then keep the play moving into the middle. Very small things. Again, not things that deserve ridiculous amounts of praise.
The opportunity as well.
Yeah, this is what we need. This is what we need from him. If he does play the final, he needs to use his physicality a lot better, and he needs to use it on those smaller centre backs, like you're saying. Because if I don't know what the height is, I'm going to be checking out before my preview. But if those centre backs are in any way shorter than him, he's got to be dominating. Yes, they could have a leap or whatever, but you've got to be dominating those centre backs if they're a weak point, like you said, 100%.
Yeah, man. I mean, I said finally, what's your score prediction? He goes, Palmeiras 2-1. And I'm like, man, that is going to devastate me. I'll be shattered, traveling all the way to watch Palmeiras win the final 2-1. But they appreciate the fact that we are the favorites, but it seems like they have a game plan. And I hope our boys are very serious, because
Yeah.
I'm telling you, Al Hilal almost did us, man. Al Hilal almost did us. And that stadium in the final will have majority Palmeiras fans. And we better be on our game, because it's difficult to come to Club World Cup. Like, you got to win the Champions League. God knows when the next time we're going to win the club, Champions League again, to be in this situation. So some of these players may not see this situation again.
Yep.
You got to win this. You have to win this. So let's see what happens.
It's been 9 years since we last won the Champions League before the one last year. So you could bet this is Kante's last. This is Thiago Silva's last. This is Aspilicueta's last. This is so many players' last opportunity to win the Club World Cup. It really is. Do you know what I mean? So they've got to grab it with both hands, literally and metaphorically. I want them to grab that trophy with both hands. They need to go out there and really come correct. And if they are going to go back three, then maybe we'll match them for a back three. And for me, that's where potentially Kennedy comes in. I know Kennedy, like I said, I would also be hesitant on playing him in his first final. But the more I think about it, you're talking about those counterattacks, Miz, and you're talking about the speed and the transitions, and they obviously have quick, very technical, skillful players. I just don't think Alonso should be anywhere around that environment where we're playing against South American, good dribblers, quick players, in transition on counters. That sounds like a job that I don't want to see Alonso try and handle. It sounds like maybe I might have to take back what I said, is actually just risk Kennedy. If we're going to play a back three, I don't really want to see Malang Sarr, because I don't think going forward he gives us enough. I think we saw that against Plymouth. Yeah. He brought Marcos Alonso on, to get that extra bit of attacking impetus in the final third, to make those runs into the box for the Kai Havertz cutback. But we know Kennedy's got that technique to be up that side of the pitch and give something. Maybe Kennedy will have to start this game in the wing back position if we're gonna play these wing backs in this back three to match them. I don't know. It's a madness. I mean, Younes, what would you do? Obviously, we've got previews later on, but in the coming days. But what would you do here?
Honestly, I mean, the truth is we don't know Palmeiras to the extent like we know, Premier League or European opposition, where we'll be able to give proper analysis. Thomas Tuchel needs to do his homework here. And, I'm sure he's been prepping, because that's what Thomas Tuchel does. But I don't think even the players know truly what to expect, because we never come across Palmeiras. There's no reason for us to pay any attention to Palmeiras, but here we are. Yep. So I hope Thomas Tuchel has managed to, do a lot of his homework, get to know exactly what they're about. And I'm sure he has. I'm sure he's been watching tons and tons of footage and previous games and recent games, including their semi-final, and just get to know them a little bit more, so then we can come up with a plan. But normally when you look at Brazilians, they've got skill, tremendous amount of flair. They've got pace. They've got confidence in their game on the ball. Their technicality is through the roof. I mean, Brazilians are known for that, and South Americans are known for that. So when you're looking in terms of the way that we are playing at the moment and what our weakness is, it's the exact thing that we're doing at the moment, which is concerning all of us, which is how slow and how poor our movement is. You do that against a team that's just quick and full of technicality on the ball, where the ball literally sticks to their feet, because that's how they were raised as footballers. You're going to have a tough time. So we need to be able to make sure we've got tons of pace in our game. We're moving it quickly. We're bringing that Premier League level to the game. If we do that, I think we'll be all right. We should be okay. But if we play in the same sort of tempo we did against Al Hilal, I'm worried. So yeah, fingers crossed. And even in terms of what that Palmeiras fan, that Miz has said, that Miz spoke about, in terms of their weakness and their centre-backs not being physically strong. Cool. I hope Lukaku, if he were to play, takes advantage of that. At the same time, if they're not physically strong, chances are they're fast and they're quick and they have speed at least. Yeah. So Lukaku needs to be careful of that, because he's looking slow and he's looking heavy-footed. So it could be a strength versus a weakness, and a weakness versus a strength. So yeah, we just got to be on our game. If we are on our game, we should be okay. But we got to be careful, because Palmeiras, I'm sure, are going to bring a sort of level of football that a lot of Chelsea fans are not expecting. We got to be cautious.
Yeah, no, 100%. I think you're spot on, and I'm trying to stay confident. What's everybody's score predictions then for this final? Mine. I'm going to go. Oh God, I'm going to go. This is nuts. I'm actually going to go 1-1 after normal time, and that we beat them in extra time 2-1. I really think it's going to be a tough day, man, because I don't know if we've been playing well in recent like weeks, I could say, if we had even played well in the first 2 games since the break, right, I'd be able to say, okay, Chelsea are really playing well right now. They're playing like they played against Leicester, Newcastle, Norwich. You know, they're really in form, but we're not. I can't just make an assumption that it's going to just all come together in the final. So I think I'll go 1-1 in normal time, and extra time we just pip it 2-1. What about you, Miz?
I'm thinking this is going to penalties, man. This is going to penalties, and I'm thinking Kepa's going to do a madness and hopefully win it for us, because even with the weakness that Palmeiras fan was talking about, and I think what he was trying to also indicate that, like most Brazilian teams, they can be erratic. Like, they're very flair-based teams, but they're erratic. They're prone to make mistakes because they're just crazy. They're outrageous. Like, their defenders will try and dribble all the way through the midfield and try and attack. So that will leave a gaping hole at the back. But are we good enough to take advantage of that? Like, there was a moment yesterday where Havertz did a madness. He went through a player and he dribbled, and then he hit the post. And it was like, I just wish he just finished that off, and that would have been game, set, and match against Al Hilal, right there. I'm just worried that I'm not confident with our players to finish. This is crazy. Chelsea Football Club, not confident with the players to finish. And I think this will be the Achilles heel. Hopefully we can sneak a goal as early as possible. They'll probably equalize. They will bring it. And then it will be a dogfight in the extra time and probably go to penalties. And then Kepa, please do us another favor, please.
Yeah,
that's what I'm predicting.
Yeah, we conceded 12 shots. I just want to wrap up the episode on this note. We conceded 12 shots in this game to Al Hilal, and 8 of those shots were in the second half. So, you know, it just in terms of when I talk about control, a lot of people are coming back and saying, and fairly so, you know, just because we have more possession doesn't mean that we're necessarily doing anything with that possession, doesn't mean we're being potent. But my point is when we don't have possession, we're not the Chelsea team of old with Terry, with Carvalho, with Alex, with Gary Cahill, even with, you know, even David Luiz, Mikel, Matic. You know, we're not the old Chelsea team that can handle being out of possession and not shipping shots. We saw it against Brentford away. We've seen it in this game. We've seen it countless times. Chelsea are at their best defensively when they have the ball. When Chelsea don't have the ball, especially against teams that want to transition, they can be found out. We can see moments where we lose the ball. Dennis the Menace against Rudiger, against Watford. So many instances. So when Chelsea have the ball, statistically, they're going to concede less shots. Just this Chelsea team in general is going to happen. So we need to have control. Until we sort out in the summer, having those other type of midfield profiles and some other players come into the club, we need to have control to not be defensively all over the place, in my opinion. It's just what I'm taking from the match. So I do think Jorginho is a big part of that, but it's not just Jorginho. I think pressing from the front is a big part of that as well, which kind of dropped off in the second half. And thanks to Miz for letting us know it wasn't the weather. So but what I will say is, like you guys said, if we concede 12 shots to Palmeiras, then I don't think it will be such a pleasant match review for us three. So hopefully we don't have that issue. But listen, Younes, let them know where to find you. It's been an absolute pleasure as always, bro. Great show today.
Absolutely, man. And yeah, fingers crossed we get that job done, obviously, on Saturday. We have to win this. Let me just to end, we have to win this. If we don't win this, we come back in a mindset of we've just lost. With the way that we've been playing, this might not go well. We've got a Carabao Cup final to play against Liverpool. We've got Champions League kicking off soon. Premier League, we got to make sure. I mean, thank God other teams are dropping off. So we got to make sure we're just staying where we are. So yeah, we've got things to think about. We need to come in with a positive mindset and make sure we have a trophy coming back with us. That would be nice. But yeah, if it goes to penalties, by the way, I think we win. The same. I hope it doesn't go to penalties, but I think we win.
But this is why I said penalties, Younes, because I think we're going to win if it goes to penalties.
But fingers crossed we wrap it up in 90. Anyway, for me, Younes Talks Football, obviously, I'll be doing the preview for that game tomorrow. So that will be uploaded then, and the watch along and the review on the day itself. Up until that point, just making sure we keep an eye out of what's going on elsewhere in the football world. Of course, any big stories or any bits of, things to talk about or topics, then I'll do them. So yeah.
Lovely, lovely. Guys, you already know where to find Younes. Make sure you get that done if you haven't. I'm sure at this point you have. And Miz, 10K. 10K. Do you know what I'm saying? Let them know where to find you. It looks so lovely on your channel to see that 10K hit. Do you know what I'm saying? It looks cleaner. Now them digits, when you go to 10K, they only show 10.1 now, 10.2. It looks a lot cleaner. It's none of this 7.5 with the decimal, 2, 3, 4, 5, 9. It's none of that shit. Do you know what I'm saying?
Enough with the decimal. Nah, man. It's been a brilliant ride, man. 10,000 subscribers. Thank you once again to each and every one of you guys. And yeah, just look out for the vlogs. I'm loving it. I'm just enjoying the time here. Obviously now I'm in Abu Dhabi, so look out for the Abu Dhabi vlogs, and check out the match day vlog from yesterday. It was epic. The drive, the car park in the stadium, the walk towards the stadium, the atmosphere in the stadium, the moments, the pre-match as well when the players were training. You'll pick up some little bits and pieces from there as well. Kovacic was doing some crazy little tricks during the training time, so check all of that out. And of course, there'll be obviously previews just like Younes for the Palmeiras game, and then we'll be early on match day for the final. So expect a lot of content coming on that day, because it's going to be a carnival. It's a celebration. But as Younes said, we have to win this. We cannot leave this place without winning this, because if we lose this, it could be a downward spiral. It could be detrimental to the whole morale of the team. So let's get this win.
Oh, you're muted, Matisse.
Matisse, you're muted.
Woo! There we go. I was muted there because I thought Saj might just bust in here for a second. I wasn't sure, so I had to mute myself. I couldn't tell if I could hear him out in the hallway. But listen, guys, make sure you subscribe to both channels. The links will be in the description and in the chat, of course. In terms of my content, there'll be obviously 2 shows on Twitch. One with Mo, one with Flawless at 10. Obviously, the preview will be out tomorrow. I'll be on Don Robbie for the final. For the watch along on Saturday, I'll be on that channel. And of course, review will come out as normal. So loads of content coming up on Twitch and on YouTube. Just hit 3K on Twitch. So thank you so much for the support on there. And yeah, make sure you guys are subscribed to everybody. And we will see you next time. Glad this show is back now. I missed it last week. In a bit, people. Peace.